Hello, welcome to this webinar by ACF Technologies. Thank you for joining us. I am Alex Themistos, and I'm a Senior Account Manager here at ACF and also a host for the banking section for the CX Insider podcast. As most of you may already know, since 2003, ACF Technologies has been developing, selling, and implementing software solutions that help our clients optimize the customer experience at their branches and online. Today, our subject is customer experience in traditional banks. Our webinar will be short, about 10 to 15 minutes, and hopefully insightful for everyone who joined. During this webinar, we'll talk about the challenges facing traditional banks and the behavior and characteristics of the modern banking customer. We will look at a couple of surveys showing the expectations of banking customers and the direction banks are taking. And we'll look at what Deloitte and Ernst & Young think the focus for traditional banks should be going forward. We'll also discuss where the above have left the branch as a customer engagement tool and the opportunities facing traditional banks at the moment. We'll close with some of the solutions we provide, which enable our banking clients to increase revenue by providing better experiences to their customers. Now, historically, traditional banks didn't strive to offer good experience to our customers, and that is mainly because they never faced any competition. Digital banks now have taken a big share of the market, and this is, of course, only expected to grow in the near future. And the COVID-19 pandemic has pushed even the most traditional customer to accept and embrace the digital world. Fintech companies are bringing new innovations from what seems daily in the industry and are forcing new business models. Another important thing that's happening in the industry is big companies like Amazon and Google are now entering the financial services space and are offering services like loans to their customers, and their product portfolios is only expected to grow. These companies have a large number of loyal customers who trust them, and very importantly, they raise the bar when it comes to frictionless customer journeys. For example, with Amazon Shopping, who deals with physical products even, you can buy a product, return it, or change it seamlessly over the website. And throughout the journey, you can speak to a customer assistant via different channels like chat or telephone if you wish to do so. And that is exactly the level of customer experience customers now are expecting across all industries, and especially coming from digital channels, and especially when it comes to dealing with a banking provider who doesn't deal with physical products and deals with their money as well. This has brought about a new type of customer, which requires banks to rethink the way they interact with them. Nowadays, customers demand a better service, but also smoother interactions when it comes to the delivery of that service. Whereas before, customers looked for convenience in terms of location of where to bank, now all the services and banking providers are available to them at the click of a button. It's very easy to switch providers and also to assess the different products and services that are available to them. And another important point is that they are connected with the rest of the world now, so it's easy for them to compare reviews from others, which they trust more than the marketing messages they're being bombarded with. Most importantly, today customers expect to find what they want, when they want it, and to have the service delivered to them without any friction or delay. And here we see the results from the survey, which was conducted as part of the Retail Banking Trends and Priorities report by Jim Marus. We asked banking customers what they expect the upcoming trends in the banking industry would be. And it comes as no surprise that the number one predicted trend, and wish, of course, at the same time, is removing friction from the customer journey. As we discussed in previous slides, customers expect as smooth of an experience as possible. And another interesting point here for us is the note 2 improvements in integrated multi-channel delivery, which comes a very close fourth with 32%. And in our world here at ACF, we know that it's not just about using digital channels, but more about how you use them. And also, as we said at this time in the banking industry, how you use them in combinations with physical channels, and that is what will make the difference. And here we see another survey from Capgemini, which asked a similar question, this time customer expectations on the focus banks should have on one side versus the priorities of banks that we see on the other side. And in both cases, we see 2 points relating to the customer journey in the top 3. And that is omni-channel experience and on-demand, anywhere, anytime customer services. As you see, there are common results coming out of these surveys on what customers want. Traditional banks need to improve their customer journey across the board, both for existing and new customers, in order to stay relevant. In the next 2 slides now, we will discuss suggestions from Deloitte and Ernst & Young on what the focus for banks should be in the coming years in order to keep up with customer expectations. Starting with what Deloitte has to say, which is what we see in this slide. The first point on top left is important, and of course is something we touched upon earlier. Building customer connections was not in the traditional bank's DNA, And a big focus should be on building and, most importantly, learning to build meaningful connections with their customer. And a big ingredient of this, of course, will be the service delivery and the customer journey. By achieving excellent delivery of service through digital channels and increasing the adoption of digital channels is a key metric of building emotional connections. And as we mentioned already, the physical world is still a big factor in client interactions in banking. And banks who achieve the best balance between digital and physical channels will really see a difference in customer satisfaction and will be able to build better connections with their customers. Looking at the advice from Ernst & Young now, from their financial services report, we can see a theme forming as it reiterates the points we made throughout the webinar. Finding the right balance between digital and physical is key at this time in the industry. Of course, for every bank, the amount of digital versus physical depends on the target audiences they serve and the markets they serve in, but overall the goal is to deliver a smooth customer journey end to end. And we mentioned before that with tech giants like Amazon entering the finance industry, it's even more difficult for banks to stay relevant, especially as the new generations take up the majority of the audience size. When it comes to trust, of course, banks have not been great at it since the 2008 market crash. And if you fail to add value and to provide exceptional customer experiences across your customer journey, building this trust will be very difficult. And I want to close this section of slides with the focus bank should have with a great quote I heard when I attended an event earlier this year. It came from the head of digital banking in Italy at BBVA Bank. His name is Javier Lipus-Goa. And it summed up this focus bank should have very nicely in very few words. He said, digital when you want it, personal when you need it. And this brings us to the role of the branch. Now, it's undeniable that bank branches across the world have seen less and less footfall, and especially during the lockdowns, banks closed all their branches and customers still used banking services without any disruption. However, it is a reality for many banks that they hold contracts for their premises for branches that might span into the decade, and just simply closing these branches will leave them with an unjustifiable cost. Additionally, like everyone else, banking employees started working from home, and this means that some expertise might not be available at the branch throughout the week. For example, a mortgage advisor might now work 2 days from home, and this means that if a customer walks in the branch without an appointment and they're looking to speak to a mortgage advisor, obviously they will not have a great experience. And it's obvious around the industry, we see efforts by banks in Europe, especially, and here in the UK where we are. They're trying to reduce the number of branches they manage. But I read recently here in the UK, the post office has created bank branches in collaboration with the major banks, and it offers ATMs and other services. And the funny thing here is that an employee from each bank is at this branch at specific times in order to serve customers face to face. And at the end of the day, what does this show us? For me, this is an obvious indication that the branch is still necessary. The customers are still using it. And by passing over this channel to a third party, banks are really missing out on the opportunity to engage with their customer in their own terms. Now, changing market dynamics and customer behaviors, of course, are to be expected. And as we change, the digital age and the COVID-19 pandemic have brought challenges, but also opportunities for banks. The branch, as we mentioned earlier, should be repurposed and used as an engagement hub for the people and not for products. And I will give one example here. If a major bank globally, one of our customers, changed some of their branches and turned them into workspace cafes. And if you're an existing customer of this bank, you can go there, even if you have an appointment or not. You can work with free internet and free coffee. And you can imagine what a powerful and creative move this is to utilize the branch to build a better brand and that connection with their customer. Banks should also look to utilize technologies that will enable their employees to provide better customer service through, of course, the most suitable technology partners. And the million-dollar question here is, of course, which technologies will help me do that and how do I implement them? And hopefully we can shed some light on this in a bit. Younger generations today use social media to communicate not only between them, but it's now normal for them to use it to communicate with businesses. By engaging with customers through social media, banks can win over younger generations, which will be important for the future. Banks, as we mentioned before, should be combining physical and digital channels in order to create omni-channel onboarding strategies. And through that, they should create seamless journeys for the customers, whether that is if the customer wants to answer a question, to discuss a product, or at the time they're buying the product. Generally, banks should aim to allow their customers to interact with them as effortlessly as possible, whenever and wherever they want to. We will now have a look at a few of the solutions we provide to banks and how these can be implemented to create better customer experiences. So now our flagship product is called Qflow. It's an enterprise-level platform which enables our clients to optimize results from every customer interaction with end-to-end customer journey management capabilities. So from the moment a client or prospect make initial contact, can be to either book an appointment or to speak to someone, at the time they're being served with case management features, and any post-service interaction or follow-ups with workflow management. And it's important to understand that any of the features we mentioned can be implemented across different touch points of the customer journey. So with Qflow's appointment scheduling capabilities, your customers can book an appointment based on real-time staff availability, and appointments can be booked at the branch, online, or via telephone, and based on the service the customer is looking for. For example, book an appointment with a mortgage advisor via your website or your banking app. And these can be calls to action, for example, that can be placed on even social media ads or Google ads, whereby a customer who is looking for a mortgage product, they see the ad and it calls them to click on a link and book an appointment to speak with a mortgage advisor. Additionally, case management features allow your staff to manage the appointment by collecting things like documents, attaching the documents to the appointment details, adding notes, or booking follow-up appointments, and so on. With our queue management module, combined with our selected hardware, of course, we allow your customers to join queues automatically, whether these are online or offline, and also for expected or walk-in customers. And again, you can create calls to action across different touch points of the customer journey. Like, for example, it can be again on an ad where the customer, by clicking on the link that is provided on that ad, they can immediately join a queue over telephone or online chat to speak through a mortgage advisor. And again, all these can be delivered via video call and so on. For example, again, you can ask them from the website or from the app, click on the link to join a queue at the branch that you want to visit in the next 10-15 minutes. Now, workflow management is the module that brings all the different features together, and that it enables you and allows you to really create a superior level of customer experience. With the workflow module, you can define customer journeys, which make it easier for customers and staff to interact. For example, you can set up automated follow-up reminders or reminders to call your prospects in your funnel or those who interacted with you in the past. You can enable your customers to share information with you if you need them to do so before they arrive, for example, for the appointment, like if they're needed to bring some proof documents or provide a signature, you can ask them to attach that on the appointment booking page or through links that you provide them through messages or emails. And you can understand how much change this can bring and efficiency to your appointment booking process. For example, you eliminate situations where clients come and they forget to bring documents with them and so on. You ensure that they send them before they arrive, and you can shrink the appointment time on average and fit in more appointments in your daily schedule. With Qflow, you can also create events, which can be delivered again online or at the branch. For example, a 1-hour presentation for first-time home buyers. You can create also promotional communications and send them to promote your event via email or SMS. And you can also issue tickets to limit the number of attendees if necessary. Obviously, events is a great way to offer value to your customers and to build that emotional connection. And also, it's a great way to utilize the branch to build a relationship with your customer and that stronger brand that we discussed. And this is the end of our short webinar. We hope that we provided a high-level overview of the industry as much as you can do in 10-15 minutes. If you would like to discuss with me anything relating to your customer journey strategy, please contact me on the email that you see here. Thank you again for joining. Hope you have a nice day.